Stihl have just done one of their biggest new releases of all time. We're talking new chainsaws, line trimmers, hedge trimmers, multi-tools, mowers, blowers, vacuums. You get the idea, it's a lot. But the real question is it any good? And so to find out, we met up with Silvio from Stihl to run us through the whole product range, but not only that, to let us test out these tools in genuinely challenging conditions to see if it's worth us replacing our old petrol units for this new stuff. Let's get into it. This is the big boy, FSA 400. What's this the equivalent of on a petrol model?
This is the world's most powerful battery clearing saw. From a petrol model equivalent, it's equivalent to the FS261 brush cutter or the FS361 clearing saw. So if someone's looking at transitioning from petrol to battery because they have a tender that they need to negotiate with or a contract that they need to do clearing work and they have to be low noise and battery, this is the guy that you go for. So full 2 kilowatt powerhouse motor. The best thing about these units is that it's the same drive system as a petrol equivalent. So if you have your 361 and you go, oh, now I need to buy a whole new blade set, guards, whatever, no, you just take them off and put them on. So now you actually have a spare part machine that you can simply feed onto the machine.
Let's go test it out.
I love it.
Right, so we've just done that whole strip over there that you've seen. More importantly to me, this is legitimately knee-high buffalo, really thick, unmaintained. Honestly, I would say that that didn't feel like what I was cutting. It felt a lot easier than what I was cutting. Most impressive part to me is, despite all that, we've got only 1/4 of battery lost. And that was all one little hit. We haven't changed the battery, haven't done anything. I had it on setting 3 full throttle the whole time.
It's one of those things where this coupled with the right cutting attachment, it is unstoppable. Put a poly cut on it and it's fantastic for clearing tall grass like this where you don't know what's underneath it. You can put a blade on it, you can put a wood cut saw on it. So if you want to cut down these trees without getting a saw out, that's your perfect companion. But I want to ask you, how did you feel using the harness?
It doesn't feel heavy. I mean, that's the thing about it. Like both the cutting and the actual machine just felt like I was using a pretty normal light, resi level line trimmer on some resi level stuff, but I wasn't. So.
The hardest part is squeezing the trigger.
But you said that these are one of your best sellers now.
Correct. When one person on the fleet is using something as comfortable as this, the whole fleet is using them. If you're on the tools all day, every day, and you're brush cutting, this will save you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on physio bills and pain and everything else that you used to experience. Go in store, try one out. You won't look back.
This is the new blower range. Kind of reminds me of something. But with these two, what have we got here?
So the BGA 160 and the BGA 250 are some of the most powerful handheld blowers we have ever made. And that is including petrol. So the BGA 250 is the world's most powerful handheld blower, especially in the battery range, across the whole battery charge. So what a lot of...
Okay, hold on a second. Across the whole, is this like some technical little thing where it's like we found a loophole to win a Guinness World Record, you know?
Quite the opposite.
Okay.
So what a lot of brands may do is that they'll have a really high blowing number. And what that means is that when they press the trigger for the first maybe 5 or 7 seconds, it can hit that number and it'll do that job. But after 5 or 10 seconds, it starts dropping and plummeting until it finds what the actual true blowing force is. And then it'll keep doing that until it runs out of charge.
Right.
What we do with all of our AP range is the constant power, is that as soon as you squeeze the trigger, you will get full power across the whole battery life until it's dead.
Right.
Like a petrol machine. If you have your car and you've only got half a tank of fuel, if you put your foot on the throttle all the way to the floor, you still get 100% power.
Yeah.
Your battery machine should do the exact same job. The performance you get at the start of the job to the end of the job should be the exact same. There's no reason to compromise when you're using our AP range.
So with the look of these, right, I'll just be honest, it looks like you left them in a van on a hot day. It's melted a little bit down here, but you were telling me, maybe we should put a battery in, that this is for balance, and ergonomics, right?
Correct.
This is pretty well balanced.
So the great thing about the design, or the melted design as we like to refer to it, is as you have your hand completely straight, the blower is pointing to the ground.
Right.
So that way you're not bending your arm at any point. The great thing about these guys is they have cruise control. So when you have it at the blowing speed that you need it to be, you press cruise control and you can just simply hold it.
Right.
If you're too tired and you don't want to hold it, we actually give you a harness so you can carry it on your shoulder. So all you need to do is just point it in the right direction you need to point it at. It'll do all the work for you.
Right. So 300S is, this is what, your second biggest one, I think?
Correct. So the 300S is our second largest battery. All of our S model batteries now actually come with Stihl Connected. So it's a fleet management app where you can actually see the runtime of your battery.
Right.
And you can couple it with a connector on the tool. So in this case here, that guy there, you can integrate a connector system that'll read everything about the machine. Yeah. And you can, as a commercial contractor, can get proactive servicing advice. So generally when you service a machine, it's not actually a service, it's a repair because something broke.
Yeah.
This will send you a notification on your phone and say, Luke, check the terminal. You know what, you've actually used it for 60 hours. You should check this, check that. And that way allows you to be proactive in your servicing and maintenance.
Yep. Rather
than being on a job and kaput because you haven't done anything to the machine. Because how do you know how many hours you've done? So it gives you that notification on runtime so that you can spend $10 repairing or servicing rather than $100 fixing.
You're making the claim that this is the most powerful blower specifically across the life of the battery. So I came up with a little test. What we've done is we've taken this battery, which is 1 bar left, and we've got this one in here that's full. We run them side by side on the screen at least, exactly the same spot, and we find same pitch in the blower. That's good, as you can hear. And as far as I can tell, the same amount of grass is being blown over. How are you achieving that? Because I find a lot of other brands, we're getting a big drop off.
Correct. So that's part of our constant power feature. So across our whole AP range of battery tools, as the voltage drops, the current picks up, and that maintains that constant energy output throughout the life of the battery until there's 0 volts left, and then the machine just turns off. And that's consistent across all our AP tools.
Right, so we were saying before that if you have, say, a stat, that might be the peak for the first minute of runtime, and then it drops off. And that is only a minute of the life of that machine. So the real world numbers in the middle are what you want to be
the average between the peak and trough. But the great thing about the Stihl is as soon as you press that trigger, that constant power is what you get throughout the whole end until it just stops.
One of the biggest challenges as a contractor about these battery systems is storing the batteries, because if you don't have OCD to start with, which is a lot of us, you're going to have them sliding around you, they get damaged. And this looks like a really good solution.
Correct. So we have everything from mobile chargers to battery carriers to sustainer boxes where everything fits in nicely and you can carry it on site or do whatever you need to in the depot. Mm-hmm. So the way we've set these up is the 4-port charger is actually one of the only chargers on the market that is vehicle certified. So you go over a speed hump at a bit too quick of a rate, batteries fall out of charges, it's not safe for you, not safe for the batteries, whatever the case may be. If you tip that whole bad boy upside down, not a single battery will fall out.
All right, okay. So if I start shaking...
Shake it, throw it,
so they're all clipped
do whatever you need to do.
They're clipped in the same way that they're on the tool.
Exactly right.
Right.
So the great thing about it as well, you can see that there's mounting points. So you can mount them sideways, you can mount them on the wall, you can mount them in the ute, mount them upside down if you really want to. But the other great thing about this charger, if you tilt it up a little bit, even though it's not plugged in, right now it's running on hopes and dreams, if I press this, it'll actually tell me the battery level of every single machine. So if you've got that in your ute, you can mount it to your ute, you can then simply plug it into a power point at a job site, top it up at the job site, take it out, put it out at the depot, charge all your batteries overnight, and you're ready to rock and roll.
So I assume these charge one at a time?
Correct.
So and is it a similar speed to this charger that I think a lot of people would have?
Correct. So you have the AL300, which is the previous version of the 301 that's out there in the market. The 301-4 is the same charging rate, just 4-port as opposed to a single port.
Right. So I've got this guy, and he is on my wall with these mounting points. So if I was to put this on a ute, because there's no clip, the battery would just fall out.
Correct.
So I go over a speed bump because I'm really trying to get Art Margaret's before the job finishes. Yeah. It'll fall out like that.
It's just not certified.
Do I get brownie points for that good cash? Did you notice that?
I did notice
it. So this is not really for, I mean, you could have this at the office.
Absolutely you can. So you're talking about contractors that forget. We all forget. We're human.
All the time.
So what a lot of people will do is they'll actually have this as their battery carrier. So they'll take it from the depot, put it on the ute, and then use that to transport batteries, top it up on site or whatever. Now, if you've got more than 4 batteries and you think, how am I going to carry this thing? you can actually take them all out and put them in this guy here. So this is our battery carrier. The great thing about both of these is you can actually stack this 3 high.
Ah.
You can also stack this 3 high. So I can comfortably hold, what's 6 by 3? 18? 18 batteries. It's got straps so I can mount it onto the car. It's not going anywhere. Taller than 3, it gets a little bit risky. We don't certify it there.
I also noticed, you didn't tell me this, but I'm just thinking about this now. These 3 holes would line up with one next to it because that's flat. So I could bolt these sideways together as well.
100% right.
You guys have thought about it.
Trust the Germans who engineer everything to perfection. So no matter who you are or what you're doing, these sustainers will stack, these will stack, that will stack. We've got everything to keep you going, because at the end of the day, buying more batteries is cheaper than buying a solar panel, inverter, a dual battery system, wiring, certification, whatever else.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people, like when we were looking into it years ago now, it was about $7,000 to fully set up with all the chargers and everything before all these multi-chargers coming out. And it got to a point where you're just like, yeah, you just buy the batteries. But even now, things have reduced in price. Probably still better just to have the batteries.
The other thing is though, batteries can only be charged at a certain temperature. It's WA, it gets hot. Right now is not the perfect example, but it gets bloody hot.
Yeah.
And if you're using a machine, the battery's getting hot, you're hot, the battery actually needs to cool down to be able to charge at its optimal rate.
Right.
So that way you're actually promoting the life of the battery. So our AP500Ss, they're designed with pouches inside, and they're certified to 2400 charges before it notices any degradation. So that way you have that longevity behind it, and that is only done with temperature management, which is what these have. They have fans inside, so it'll cool the battery down before it starts charging. But if you're 5 minutes away from your next job, it's not going to cool the battery down to be able to safely charge it before you get to your next job. So that's where the extra batteries just make sense.
I've also found that this one, just a challenge of being in Australia, which is why testing them in Australia makes sense. The temperature, you've got to get jobs done at some point. And there's, everyone would love to work below 35 degrees. There's certain days where you literally can't. In WA, we have fire restrictions that actually stop us from using combustion engines. So it's a catch-22, because sometimes people go, well, I'm going to use battery on the hottest days, so I don't have to stop working for a total fire ban. But then batteries don't like the heat and the temperature. What temperature range would these work? So ambient temperature, can these work in before we start having problems?
The battery itself can get up to 50 degrees before it cuts off.
Right.
So I can't really talk about ambient because it is one of those things where the motor.
So if I'm running it really hard at 35 degrees, it's going to heat up quicker to start with.
It will. Generally on a 45 degree day, one, it's too hot while you're working, but then again it happens. That's where you'll start noticing it. If this is sitting on the dash of your car, it's in direct sunlight under a magnifying glass, it will get hot. But that's why we have so many options in regards to battery storage, to keep them cool. Keep them out of the sun, keep everything working, so that at the end of the day you can keep working as well. All right, so this is the ASA20 battery powered secateurs. So the great thing about these guys is this will replace vast majority of your loppers up to a 25mm cut, your handheld secateurs. And if you're anything like me where you're a bit lazy and you want to be able to do things with the press of a button, that's all I'm doing. The other really cool thing about this is that I can control the width of that blade to be exactly how wide I want it to be.
So it's not just on or off.
Correct, completely brushless. Everything in this machine is completely serviceable too. And the great thing about it is if I hold the trigger, it'll beep. And now the width has been decreased. So if I'm in a vineyard, or if I've got a lot of cuts I need to do on a rose bush garden, I can just go through and have that fast action working through.
That's the thing I was going to point out, is like, this is a really fast cut. And I've had battery ones in the past on the the lower end, and this is a competitive price for these products. And it's like, and if I'm a homeowner, do I care? I don't know. Maybe I do, because it's annoying. But it's not costing me money. But as a contractor, no, the longer it takes, the worse the job is for you.
And especially if it gets stuck. There's nothing worse than having to wait 2 seconds just for it to get stuck as well. So the really cool thing about this guy is not only does it have a battery level indicator on the screen, it has a cut count indicator, and on the inside, there's a little tool so you can actually maintain your blades. You can pull apart pretty much the whole thing, just with everything from an onboard storage perspective. The blades are sharpenable, and you can actually buy replacement blades as well.
Yeah.
On a full charge, up to 2,000 cuts. The greatest thing about this tool is that the blade setting is actually completely adjustable. So I can adjust this to be the exact height that I want and then snip through and job done.
It's so clean.
Super clean. So if I just keep on working on through, it's quick and easy without any concerns at all.
I'll move my hand down, I'm getting nervous.
But the greatest part about it is, like I said, you can sort of control. So if I want to do a bit of a half cut, I can half cut if I want to do some grafting work later on, or you just snip on through. So if you're using loppers, if you're cutting anything up to 25 mil, this bad boy is a perfect addition to your fleet.
Okay, talking about up to 25 mil, obviously this is the thicker end of the stick. At what point do you reckon it's going to give up?
I'm generally going to say we'll use the blade as a guide, but I'm always one to put it to a test. So I reckon if I go one side and then the other, let's see how we go. And then let's go final cut. Oop.
So you can't even fit the blade over the edge of that. You still could cut it if you needed to. Obviously it's not a very pretty cut.
No, it'll butcher your way through it.
You butcher your way through it, but down here, let's say we can fit, what's the biggest thing we can fit through? Perfect.
So on that note, the AS2 battery that powers the secateurs, for a commercial contractor, I guarantee you this is your new best friend. It's not just a random device with cords sticking out of it. Not only will it charge your phone, whether it's iPhone or USB-C or whatever, you can actually put this inside your car and it will charge your AS2 batteries. If you have a heated jacket, you can use the DC plug and charge your heated jacket using the AS2 battery. If you're stuck in the wilderness and you need to turn the light on, it has a light function at the top.
If Google Maps has really let you down and you're stuck in the wilderness.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or you can be the coolest cat on the job site and you can hang it on your belt clip there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we like to call this a tradie's best friend, charging your tablets, your phones, whatever the case may be, and also charging your AS2 batteries while you're in the car. Sits in the cup holder and you're good to go.
Perfect. All right, so this is the thing that so many people are excited about and talking to me about, because this is the upgrade on the previous, which was a fan favorite, the little chainsaw, but a few upgrades. What are these upgrades?
So the GTA 26 was Australia's #1 selling tool. We have sold so many, we sell more GTA 26s than anything else.
Across the entire...
Everything.
Wow.
So that just goes to show how popular this
Which is
range
why everyone keeps asking me about. So tell me about this.
Awesome. So the GTA 40 is the first of our dual AS battery systems. So it requires 2 AS2 batteries to run the machine. If I take one out, nothing happens.
Right.
So the great thing about that is you get double the power that you traditionally would with your GTA 26. We took the feedback from arborists and people that are on the tools all day and said, we need an oil tank reservoir. The GTA 26, you need to dab the oil on by hand. This one here, you actually have an oil tank reservoir like you would in a pole saw or a chainsaw.
Yeah, yeah.
It is designed to be used two-handed, and it also has a battery level indicator on there that'll tell you the charge level of the lowest capacity battery.
Yeah.
Because if one battery runs out, the machine does stop.
Yeah.
But the great thing is when you buy it as a kit, it has a dual port charger that charges both batteries quickly and simultaneously. The other great thing about this tool is we have designed it to be as ergonomic and safe as possible. You can see there's non-slip for the top and the handle set, so you can comfortably use it with two hands. You're not meant to hold it up here, and that's why there's spikes on top. Spikes hurt, don't touch spikes. It is designed to be an arborist's best friend as well. So it has carabiner hook.
Okay, so I can hook that to my right, take it up a tree.
Absolutely. And there's also a holder on the scabbard. So when you're up in a tree, you don't lose your scabbard, and this isn't dangling and cutting up your pants while you're climbing.
Right.
It has a 1/4 pico chain on the cutting attachment. And the great thing about it is it has such density across the top here. When you put the branch right up against it and press the trigger, the saw will do all the work for you.
Right.
That way you're promoting the health of the branch when it comes to regenerating. On top of that, it also has the bar and chain adjustment that you're used to on a chainsaw. Has a bar and chain, has a chain catcher should the chain come off, and a hand protector as well.
So this is really, like, to summarize it, this has all the features that a normal professional saw would have, all shrunk down
into a pruner.
And what I like about this is a lot of us are gardeners, maybe not tree loppers, or we're lawn contractors, we dabble in a little bit of pruning. And one of the things that a lot of us would realize as contractors is space is at a premium in the toolbox. And if this has now got twice as much power, I could probably use this for 99, if not 100% of all applications. A gardener would, not necessarily a tree lopper. It comes in a box, right? Throw it in the ute, keep it there, doesn't take up much space. Again, charge more money, add-on services.
Correct. Comes in a nice carry case. You can fit up to 6 batteries in the carry case. So it gives you plenty of runtime and bang for your buck, and it'll do everything you pointed at. Being a 6-inch bar, you can do a 12-inch cut. 6 inches on one side, 6 inches on the outside, and then you can tackle pretty much everything in your way.
All right, so you said this could catch 12 inches. You got to prove it now. We found something.
Got to put it to the test.
All right, let's go.
So what you'll notice with the tool as well is when you're cutting, if you're applying too much pressure and overloading the machine, you'll hear that beeping noise. That's the machine saying, stop, something's wrong.
Yep.
Start again.
I don't need to have the experience. I can just listen to it. There we go. I'm going to do it again. Perfect.
You're going to do much more than that on a daily basis?
Well, you wouldn't be, it's still half. You wouldn't be using this you wouldn't be buying this if this is the main job you're doing.
Correct.
But if you can do this, like,
you'll get out of trouble in no time.
This will be fine.
Yeah. When you were using it, I mean, we were in the rain a little bit earlier, but did you notice that constant power?
Well, that's what I was wanting to do multiple cuts on, because you can tell the first time it was pinching, that's what was holding you up for. These times, I guess I'm getting a little bit thinner, tiny bit thinner here, a little bit thicker over there. But once I've got a clear cut, it's so much easier. And I'm not noticing a slowdown at all, and I've used half the battery.
Epic.
One more time.
Go for it. Now, if you're an avid motorcyclist or caravanner or camper, that'll be a perfect tool to keep in the back of your car.
I just want to say that's still half. Still half batteries. What's that? 4 cuts of that. And I'm not noticing any drop in performance. Actually, we're doing these quicker now that it's not pinching. So this is Stihl's, well, you're telling me this is Stihl's most powerful hedge trimmer ever. And why do we have 2 models, and why is yours bigger than mine?
So we have the HSA 140T and the HSA 140R.
Right.
So the 140s are equivalent to the HS82 models in the petrol range. Same power, same performance, same blade sets, same everything. The main differences between the two is power and torque and speed. So if I flip it this way, the T model has a very short cutting width, whereas the R model has a wide cutting width. So T is for trimming, R is for reduction and rejuvenation. So for a hedge such as the one behind us here, that'll take a massive hedge into a small hedge using the R model.
Right.
For topiary work, for really clean shapes and everything else like that, the T model is where you need it to go, because this will go up to 5,000 RPM as a blade speed.
Right.
So it gives that really clean premium finish, as opposed to the slower and more torquier hedge trimmer, which will do the same job, but it won't give you as much as a clean finish. So you get the right hedge trimmer for the right job, as opposed to an all-rounder.
Yeah, the thing I'd say is that not all plants, say take a viburnum, right? You might get a viburnum with a large leaf, or maybe even certain gardenias or things like that that you want to cut. They got large leaves. Buxus is as small as a leaf will get, basically. And even if you were doing a maintenance hedge, the highest speed just means you cut the same leaf too many times, because the gap isn't. So these are more suitable for even certain applications.
And look, absolutely right. The other great thing about it is that it has that same Stihl reputation that you have from your petrol machines. If you're not a fan of the chip protector because it catches the branch as you're trimming, you can actually take it off. The machine is completely serviceable. You have the fully rotating rear handle set. You've got the speed selection on the front, and you've also got the barrier bars, so that if I am hedging, I can get close to my pants without worrying about the blades touching my leg. Not that you ever want to be in that position.
No, you don't want to be that close to that. So you're saying 3 speed modes up to 5,000.
Correct.
The previous model I think was in the mid 3s. We'll put something on the screen. So you could probably get the same speed if you liked the previous model, up to faster. You just got that option, right?
Correct. The harder you squeeze the trigger, the faster it goes. The other great thing about the blades is that they're a double scissor action, and they've got reverse blade functions. So if it gets jammed for whatever reason, let go of the trigger, squeeze it again, and it'll reverse the blades, and you'll saw your way through that thicker branch.
Right, and you can't do that with a petrol unit.
No.
Right.
It goes one way, and the piston goes up and down, and that's it.
So these used to be plug-in, sort of like your umbilical cord that you put in. And maybe some people still prefer that model, but I think a lot of people prefer the battery on board, and the weight as well.
And that's the thing, we always design the machine so that weight is your key priority. When I put a battery in, that'll bring that rear back. You're on the tools all day. You want to be comfortable. No one is ever going to doubt whether a Stihl can do the job. That's the easy part. Making sure it's comfortable, making sure it's safe, making sure it's actually low noise and ergonomic is where we really shine.
You're trying to show me the anti-jam, but we haven't jammed it yet.
It is
We
a
keep
struggle.
shoving it in.
So this is a pretty bad example of it, but you can sort of see it's stuck there. Every time I let go of the throttle, it'll go backwards and then just try and saw its way through. So you can see every time I press that trigger, that's what that jamming situation is. It's not necessarily designed to saw its way through, but it gives you the chance, because right now I'm stuck. Now I can press it and at least get the hedge trimmer out, rather than damaging the branch or the blades.
I wouldn't typically be recommending a hedge trimmer for this. I mean, if you are doing a full cutback, but that's one that I've just cut through, no problems.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like secateurs size right now.
Correct.
And obviously we've gotten to a couple of sort of mini chainsaw level work. Again, it's starting to rain now, no problems.
This will keep working if you're willing to work.
And this one here, like we said before, this is the one that's really for the finer.
Absolutely. Now this isn't necessarily a picturesque
No,
hedge.
it's not the Buxus at the Stonefield.
Correct. But up to 5,000 RPM, it will give you that beautiful shaping finish. So something like this with a lot of leafy greens, it can do the job for you nice and quickly.
And I think you want to show me this as well.
Super Clean. So Super Clean is our spray. So best part of Super Clean is as you press the trigger, give that a spray and job done. So that'll lubricate your blades and it'll act as a hydroscopic agent so that water doesn't get stuck in between and the sap doesn't glue your blades together. Have you ever tried to start a hedge trimmer from nothing after not using it for a while and the sap has locked the blades in? That stops that sap from connecting.
Well, what I've also found is like one of the most important parts, again, it's raining, but when those blades are touching, you get that very clean cut.
Absolutely.
The problem is when the sap builds up over time, it actually bends the blades ever so slightly. They become loose, they don't cut so clean, and you can't sharpen that out. You have to buy a new set of blades for it.
Correct. Now the great thing about our ones is that you can actually, the blades are completely serviceable. So you can disconnect them completely from the gearbox. The gearbox is serviceable as well. So you can lay them down flat, clear out all the sap, sharpen each blade to perfection, and still keep on working just like brand new.
Do you want to keep on working, or do we want to head inside?
I reckon we go inside. I think we've earned lunch.
We have. So this surprised me, but you were saying that this shredder vac is like super requested. Like lots of people are asking for it, but also that you made a bunch of upgrades on the previous petrol model.
Absolutely. If I don't get an email about this every day, it's a good day. This is one of the most demanded products that we are about to release. Super exciting. So previously our SH86 was a blower that was converted into a shredder vac. So it did both quite well. What we've done now is we've launched the world's best blowers. Now we're doing, you know what, let's just do a dedicated vacuum shredder and just get the job done in one hit rather than compromising on performance by trying to make it do both in one. So the coolest thing about this is it'll actually outperform the petrol SH86 by about 15% in terms of suction power. But the other great thing about it is it's completely toolless. So if I get a jam, it's just one button that clicks.
Oh yes, okay.
The other great thing is if I need to take this chute off, it'll come off. Now, if you're a little bit inquisitive and you want to put your hands in things, even with a battery in there, it won't work because there's switches on these. So it completely cuts off, keeping your workers safe, keeping you safe. The other great improvements that we've done to the machine, actually before I pop this on, is the feedback we received from the SH86s is that people didn't like the zippers. Dirt got stuck in it, gravel, whatever the case may be, and they wore out over time.
Right.
So what we've done now is similar to waterproof backpacks, is we've introduced these clips, and now it's a fold-out system.
Right.
So that way you don't have to worry about zippers, you don't have to worry about anything like that. And before we released these products in the country, we had it tested throughout the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria at private schools to see how they went there.
Yeah.
Kids are animals. They'll make a mess, they'll throw God knows what on the ground.
Yeah.
And if it can't be sucked up, it's not good enough. Thankfully, this machine outperformed and the whole private school system down there is now upgrading and transitioning their fleet because it means that they can use the tool, especially while kids are in class without being distracted.
So before I started my business, I was the head groundskeeper at a couple of schools for over time. And every morning we'd blow everything down. And the problem is you just move it to that side of the school and then this concept called wind would happen and it'll blow it all back and you'd be doing it the next day. And at some point you're like, I need to do something about the actual volume of the leaves, not just move them.
Correct.
And so I guess that's why all these guys will be using this.
Absolutely. We've also introduced a air relief sort of clip here. So if you are sucking up wet leaves, as you know is a bit of a pain, you can open this up and it will allow more airflow through to be able to suck through quicker. One of the things that a lot of competitors have problems with is it's so much suction that it sucks to the ground and you end up dragging it along the concrete.
Yeah, I've done that.
So this has been reinforced as a tip. And as you can see, we've been using it for quite some time and sucking it on concrete. It is designed to be as a consumable. You will wear through this after a few years. But you can see this little lip here. So when it is sucked to the ground, there's still a bit of an air gap, so you actually won't be sucked to the ground and pulling it against concrete. It will flow through very nice and seamlessly.
Right, okay, awesome. Right, let's test it out. Right, so you were sucking it up, you sucked up a little bit of a plastic bag, a little bit of noise happening. Show me what's going on there.
So traditionally with a shredder vac, you have to get tools to take everything apart, but this is all completely toolless. So if you do get stuck, take it out and away you go.
So show me this little blade in here that you had just there.
So this blade here is part of the mulching system. So every 14 litres that comes into here is 1 litre that gets put out in there.
So that's like leaf matter.
Yeah.
Because it's been shredded up.
Correct. So if you've got a situation where you've got a very long driveway, you've got leaf litter making a mess of everything, and you think, oh, how many bags am I going to go through? Do I need to grab a wheelie bin? Essentially, every 14 litres of leaves that you suck up, you end up with a litre inside your bag. And then the great thing is, as we showed, is you can simply undo it. These clips fall out.
So you'd leave this on you as you're doing this?
And you go for it. Yeah, correct.
So you could literally actually have it on you and then you just lift it up and we'd dump that in there. We might go dump it in the garden bed over there out of the way, but that's the point of so simple, dump it in, move on, get my next pot.
Exactly right. And even with this off, I can squeeze the trigger and nothing happens because of that electrical safety cutoff.
Beautiful.
Super safe.
Right, and that leads us perfectly into this, which is a tool I've used quite a bit. I've got one at the warehouse. I would say that I'm using my blower a lot more.
Yep.
But what I used to do, you talked about the tip of that being consumable. I used to have to jam that into the dirt and half use it as a brush, half use it as a
shovel.
Yeah, and the bristles on this, so if you didn't know, this is powered. It spins it around, throws it away. You can't manually broom in the same way. And I just trust me on this. If you ever get a hand to demo, you just cannot sweep in the same way as this. And it just fits in a little niche where there's certain uses where like this is the most handy thing, period.
Have you ever had those Japanese ornamental trees dropping leaves on porous concrete? You can broom, you can blow, you can pressure wash, you'll never get that leaf off. This here will remove anything from everything, and it's that perfect ASMR relief content. As you're sweeping on through, you go, I never knew my driveway could be so clean.
Yeah.
So this guy here is coupled up to our new KMA 200. The KMA 200R is actually our most powerful combi motor. Right,
so this is the same motor that we talked about before. It's the 131 equivalent.
Correct, absolutely spot on.
And I love combi, like multi-tool systems. I think, like we talked about real estate before on the back of the ute, and this just solves so many problems. I love these systems because you can put all your attachments on. You're not losing space. It's not everyone's cup of tea, it's my cup of tea. But tell me about this.
We had feedback with combi users in the past that used the harness, and they said, I hate how whenever I turn the machine, I would follow the harness. So now there's a swivel on the front here. A lot more comfortable to use. If you're changing machines in terms of application, whether it's the attachment or the user, everyone's got different settings for height. You can actually now have a completely toolless front handle set adjustment.
So if we're working on the same crew, you would want this in a different position because you're taller than I would.
Ever so slightly.
Switch it, yeah. Hey.
You've got 3 speed settings as well. So depending what you're using, you might not need huge speed and power, but at the same time as well, you can add on different attachments. You can put on the new FSS KM combi attachment, which will actually be a 450mm cut swath line trimmer.
Right, so wider than the one we've been using.
Correct. That'll plug on and you have the exact same power as you would as a dedicated FSA 200. Remember how I was talking about the connected system? So it has that full fleet management system inside here that'll integrate into the BMS. This is so powerful that we've actually integrated an air filter. And you'll notice that through a lot of our AP machines, they just suck in so much air and debris that we have to have an air filter inside here to not only cool the motor, but keep everything nice and clean all the way throughout. So that's how you can have that longevity and performance. Take the 2 screws out, give it a clean, pop it back in again, and you're good to go.
Tell me about this guy.
So, you're talking about real estate in a trailer. If you don't want to have a dedicated blower, this exact same blower will fit onto the end of the KMA 200 and make it one of the most powerful blowers we have.
All right, let's do it now. So one of the most powerful?
Correct. So being an actual design, what that means is You get the full power and torque out of the motor, spinning the shaft and spinning each turbine fan to give you the most amount of performance as possible. Right. And to be honest with you, I just love holding it. I feel like I'm holding a massive Gatling gun, and I feel like Tony Montana in Scarface.
Yeah, you're in trouble, Ethan.
Look, can you tell me what that is?
This is like a little...
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
Every single one of our pole saws comes with one of these, and no one can ever tell me what it's attached to. So what I'm wearing isn't just the greatest fashion accessory from Stihl.
You're not going to put a harmonica on here and start playing now?
Drums on my feet, harmonicas on my hands?
Yeah.
This is the RTS harness. The design behind this is so that I can hold onto this just one-handed. And the great thing is that this will take the weight off the machine for me. So whether it's a telescopic hedge trimmer, pole pruner, whatever the case may be, this will carry the weight for me as opposed to me having to carry it by hand. Right. So if I'm going down a residential street doing a ton of pruning, ton of hedging, and I really want to be as comfortable as possible, this harness will do that job for me.
How does this not get unclipped?
So if I'm pruning and a tree's about to fall my way and I have an oh shit moment, the great thing about it is I can push and this will release, throw that on the ground, run the other way. So the other great thing is I'm not permanently attached to the machine either. So if I ever want to let go, I can now let go of the machine.
Right. Okay, and I can also see as well as if you were to have this catch on something, it would break away, you're fine.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's literally just a case of push and throw, run the other way.
Right, well what about if I throw this on the ground?
So the great thing about all of our tools is that they are drop tested. So this is the HTA 160. It's equivalent to our most powerful petrol pole pruner, the HT 135. Same power, same drive shaft, same cutting attachment, whatever else. Yeah. It'll do the exact same job, but about 200 grams heavier in weight. It's a pretty good trade-off. So the great thing is if you can fall a small tree with this, if you really want to, you can take care of anything you want. As you know, you get into a precarious situation. If it is a case of being in trouble and I can't have the time to slowly put it down, you can just throw it on the ground and be running for the hills and making sure you don't get hurt.
That's what you do when the boss tells you to cut one more tree.
I don't want to clean up on site.
And this extends out. You haven't showed me this yet, but I'm guessing it's pretty intuitive. 4 meters.
We like to make life easy. So it's also a square shaft drive. So
doesn't twist.
Correct.
Yes, I've had that happen before.
Correct. So you can imagine holding onto that all day. You will get a little bit tired.
And I think I understand that this little handle on the bottom, I'm intuitively working this out. Now, I'm about the second strongest man in the history of mankind. I'm actually not, but that's not too bad.
No, so that handle serves two purposes. The first one is when you place the flat on the ground, the machine can't tip. And the second thing is if you have it in the ute, you can grab it by the back and you have that extra reach.
But I guess I'm about 1.76 high.
2.76.
So if I'm looking at that, and that's a 4 meter reach, we'll call this 1.5, 5.5 off the ground. And I don't have to risk my life climbing up a ladder.
Correct.
And scissor lift, all that sort of stuff.
I'm in my mid-30s, you won't see me on a ladder. I'm not risking it.
You'll see me on a ladder and I regret it every time.
So the great thing about our pole pruners as well is if you tilt it to the side, you'll notice there's a black mark or a black stripe across the back of it. Because if you're at the end down that way, you can't see where the bar is, but you can see a big bloody bold black bar that'll tell you exactly where your bearing chain is, so you know exactly what you're cutting.
We don't have a nice bright orange thing on the end.
Correct.
Can I put a bigger one of these on, or is this what you would want to go with?
You can theoretically fit a bigger one. The thing is though, most branches will struggle to be bigger than this. Keep in mind with a branch, if you're cutting something larger than this, you're generally up in the tree to begin with, doing some sort of arb work. But for a lot of your customers, what you'll find is that you can actually do one, this distance on one side, then double it on the other side, so you can take quite a fair chunk out of it. Do an undercut, do a top cut, and like the GTA 40, when you rest the branch onto the body of the head, you just press the trigger and the weight of the saw will do the work for you. If you want an angle, you can actually buy an angled gearbox attachment that'll give you that 30-degree angle as well.
So that will cut it sort of like that.
Correct.
And then I can cut under and on top a little bit easier.
Correct. So we've got everything to make your life as easy as possible.
Awesome. All right, so this is super similar to the mower that I've seen in the past, but you made some upgrades by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
To the untrained eye, what are the upgrades that we've made to warrant a brand new mower?
For sure. So this is our new RMA 353. It's a 53 centimeter deck with a 51 centimeter cutting width. It has two battery slots. So one is active and one is storage. Right. It has a variable speed self-propelled, because when you've used self-propelled mowers in the past, it's generally on, off, or you might have 1 or 2 speed settings. This actually allows you to reduce the speed of the mower to suit your walking pace as opposed to you trying to catch up with it. We've made an adjustment in terms of total ergonomics, but also from catching. So you have your side throw, which plugs in on the side. We have a mulch plug, which comes as standard, as well as your catcher, just like everything else. But we've also introduced this rear flap. This rear flap gives it a 4-in-1 system, which means that when the flap is down and there's no mulch plug, the grass will hit the back of the flap and go straight down on the ground as well. So you have that as an ejection option.
25mm lowest cut.
25mm lowest cut, 100mm highest cut, so you can tackle most grasses. And the greatest thing about this catcher is it's a pull-through design. So it means I can go straight through the handle set to put the catcher on and off without having to go underneath. So it's really nice and ergonomic as well. The handles has also been flattened. So the handles off here are nice and flat against the handle set on the top. So it means your hand is a perfect cylinder, or circle, as opposed to the traditional cylinder design, which gets quite uncomfortable to hold on to.
Yeah.
The greatest thing, as you were mentioning about sort of real estate in the ute, is this guy here has a storage as well as a service position. So if I loosen this off, and if you fold the handle set forward for me,
right,
that locks in there. I can
because
actually
it's
lift
battery,
that up.
yes.
So now this is the
oils,
total
I don't have to worry about anything,
Correct. The blade has been designed in such a fashion that it's a 15mm socket to take it off and on. If you do hit a brick, tree stump, tree root, whatever the case may be, the blade's been designed so that it'll bend down and bury itself into the ground, so you'll avoid any damage or flinging. If it doesn't do that, it'll shear these little arrows here, so it means that you protect the whole flywheel and the drive system.
Right.
So if something does happen,
it's this part here that breaks.
That's it.
The expensive parts, go get a replacement. Nice.
Absolutely right. And you can see that the blade has been designed to side throw, to mulch, to catch, and to do that rear discharge all in one. And everything's nice and easy to access and nice and easy to service.
Awesome. I gotta say they handle it better than I expected. I was expecting, especially some of these rougher patches, for it to bog down. And it did, but it took longer to do it than I thought. This was on the lowest setting, or the second lowest setting, I think, and this we had on number 6, which is a more, you can't really tell, to be honest, it's a more realistic height to be cutting this at. I slowed down the walking speed a little bit just to be sensible about it. I didn't want to do something I wouldn't actually do professionally. This is how I would have cut it, and did absolutely fine.
Mate, if you need to replace a brush cutter and you need to put something to work, this is the guy to do the job for you.
Well, you were saying before we filmed, like typically you'd recommend a brush cutter for this. But yeah, there you go. You can do it with this.
It'll still do the job. The whole point is to putting it in tough hands like yours and putting it through a tough test, and I think this speaks volumes.
I didn't think you'd let me do this when I talked about this filming, but because you drop test all of these, and I said I want to drop test them, and you said, now obviously there's a certain point in which, like if you dropped it from a skyscraper, right? Like, but this is well, we just done one of those. This is the real world scenario where I'm working at my work ute, something happens, I've been a bit clumsy, and I drop my brand spanking. Let's do it. I wasn't ready for that.
Sorry, my bad.
1, 2, 3. I've dropped my brand new tool, and I should.
Take the guard off.
Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, go. And you just want it to be like I can use it. So what is this? You sent me a video like when we were talking about this, and like, oh, here's us putting batteries in a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, putting batteries in a bloody
Concrete tumbler.
That's it.
We put them in freezers. You have built your business being able to rely on our products.
Yeah.
You, much like myself, are clumsy. We make mistakes. It's been a long day.
Speak for yourself.
And you know what? Things fall off the back of the ute. Things happen.
Right.
The greatest thing about all our tools is the fact that you can have confidence in them to be able to run your business. You want to take the scabbard off for me?
Just don't pull that trigger while I'm doing it.
Watch your hands.
Yep.
So you should have confidence in your tools. You've made the investment to invest in a brand such as Stihl so that you can have a long career with them. They need to make you money. Mistakes happen. You just want to try and mitigate that loss as much as possible. So we do drop tests on all of our equipment to make sure they can survive in real world applications.
How high is it coming from?
Every sort of machine's a little bit different, but on average, sort of broadly speaking, we drop it from about anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meters.
Because that's kind of where you're using it.
Correct. On every single face and every single angle. Now, if you drop right on the bar and chain of a chainsaw, it's going to cause a little bit of damage to the bar and chain. So common sense applies, but we do generally drop it quite through, and there's quite an investigative YouTube video which shows through all that information on our Focus On series. But the greatest thing about it is that you as a commercial contractor can rely on these tools to be able to survive the tough, brutal nature of your use.
I'm glad that we can film this on camera and you don't get upset at me.
Not at all. Look, it's a Stihl, right? We built our legacy on being serviceable. There's 600 dealers around Australia. We have spare parts for every single nut, screw, bolt, washer, bracket, everything you can think of. So if any component breaks, we have a part number for it. We have a fully qualified workshop that can look after it for you and get you back on the road if you do decide to get a little bit aggressive.
All right, Stihl, the rain's starting to get bad now, and I reckon it's time for us to go inside. Should we clean up?
That'll be fine.
Nah.
Don't worry about it.
See you later.